This is Story of Success. I'm Rania Al-Aizabi. Welcome to all of you around the world. Each time we'll be bringing you compelling and inspiring profiles. Each and every story you tell gets us closer to people who have the power to bring in change and make a difference. We'll be bringing you the full story behind the names. This is Rania Al-Aizabi, and we kickstart again with Ambassador Wahib El-Miniawy. Welcome again to Story of Success, and we'll continue your path to success. In fact, this time we'll cover your main achievements as well as the challenges you've been facing throughout your life. Let's kickstart by continuing our memories in Peru.
When Egypt, when President Sadat made the peace treaty, you know, Arab countries were not happy with that, and they transferred the Arab League to Tunisia. With the exception of 3 Arab countries that did not approve on that. It was not, of course, a very positive step for Egypt. Anyway, I was there in Lima, Peru, and suddenly I read the newspapers that the Arab League of Tunisia is sending a delegation to Peru, consisting of 3 foreign Arab ministers. And I thought that if this delegation comes to Peru, this means that Peru is recognizing the transfer of the Arab League to Tunisia. Yeah. So I went and met with the foreign minister, who was a friend, a good, very personal friend indeed, because I knew him before becoming foreign minister, so the relation was so strong. And I told him, Excellency, I think if you receive them, this means you are not recognizing the thing that the President and all of you have admired, that Egypt is directing towards peace. Yeah. He said, yes, but what can we do? I mean, 3 foreign ministers coming, can I tell them not to come? I told him, yes, but no, you let them come. But you don't have to recognize, I mean, the situation, I mean, with the Arab League. Then I told him, I kept thinking, because it will be a negative step in the relations between Egypt and Peru. And I told him, listen, you receive them as representatives of their own country. He's the foreign minister of this country, and that's the foreign minister of that country, and so on, but not as representatives of the Arab League, because the Arab League is in Cairo. Regardless that they have transferred, this is temporal. And he agreed. And they came, they never mentioned that they represent the Arab League, that the foreign minister of so and so on. And of course, it was a strong hit by us and a success. But the others at that time, they were not very happy. But this shows you, where does Egypt stand? Before and now. One thing, that much appreciation they have for Egypt. I remember the foreign minister came to visit Peru, an official mission. When a minister visits a country, his counterpart, the minister, his counterpart, makes all the ceremonies. whether speeches or conferences or whatever. Who did that in Lima when our foreign minister came? The president himself, not the foreign minister. And the president himself who gave a speech to praise Egypt and speak about the minister. And when he left Peru, when his mission has ended, they gave him a guard of honor. Yes, before he goes to the airplane. This is something we should be proud of, that our country is not any country.
One of your major achievements was that you were appointed ambassador for 7 countries at one time. Tell us more information about that.
You know, as I told you, Peru was the start of my success, if I may say so. And they transferred me after that to be ambassador in 7 countries, which is a record in the foreign ministry. But of course, we have to understand how does it go. I mean, I became resident ambassador in Caracas, Venezuela, in South America, but accredited as an ambassador in 6 other countries in the Caribbean area: Jamaica, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, Haiti, etc., etc. And I go and present my credentials to the head of the states of these countries, and whenever there is a need, I go back, but I follow up the relations and everything as if I am posted there, but from Caracas, which was, as a matter of fact, a very difficult mission, to be responsible, to...
How you were able to control things in Caracas and at those countries at the same time?
This is the right question. The right question. It was not easy, and our embassy was not very big. It was me and 3 other diplomats, and we have to follow mainly in Caracas, Venezuela, and in 6 other countries whether there is a coup d'etat or whatever problems or I have to report to our foreign ministry as if I'm there.
And you have to manage people as well there. And I think it wasn't an easy task to manage people at a time where you're standing that far away from them.
I'll tell you something. You know, because for me, responsibility is something that I worry about. I mean, I like to be responsible always, up to the level I like for myself. So
up to excellence, let me say.
Yes. So sometimes I was sleeping. Of course, I'm in Caracas, Venezuela, and I get up in the middle of the night. I'm thinking, what happened in Suriname? I was also in Suriname, and the report about this important thing was not complete. I should do this, and that. I'm thinking. I take a note and sleep again. At the end, after being responsible for the relations with 7 countries, I had to make a heart operation.
Take you a little bit to another stop I think that you love most in your life. It was Japan. Yeah. Let's dig a little bit into your time there and the achievements you did there. In fact, if we say Japan, we talk about the opera, we talk about long mutual cooperation between the 2 countries, we talk about the subway, with many fields of cooperation.
Indeed. That was the coronation of my career, as a matter of fact. Because Japan is one of the big countries in the world. And Japan was, during my time, the second world economy. Now China is taking over. Japan is started to become number 3. But this is something. Mind you, you'll be surprised to know that Japan does not have oil, does not have agriculture, does not have gold, does not have energy. So when Japan becomes the second,
but they do have a system.
of course, when they become number 2 in the world in economy, it is the Japanese people who did it. Because the country does not have
enough resources.
So it is the great Japanese person.
What's special about the Japanese that allowed them to make such huge leap into the future?
It's something for the outside world to learn about, really. For me, when I was in Japan,
as far as I know, they are punctual. They have a system to work on. Yeah?
Unbelievable. I mean, how? I'll tell you. Now, I mean, Japan with no natural resources, and they were living on fishing and rice, and that's that. And they became ahead of the European Union.
Yeah.
Why? I'll tell you. And I always thought that Japan, after all my professional work and being in many countries, I'm always saying about Japan is another planet. That much. Why? They love